Hey guys, I just want to do a quick, hopefully quick vlog about functioning in an emergency capacity versus normal functional ability in terms of just day-to-day living. Because when my mom went into the hospital, I was suddenly the head of the house. And there was no warning because it was such an emergency and everything happened so fast that I was just thrust into the position of having to take care of my dad, and I had to take care of my cat Monroe, which I did. I had to take care of myself, and I had to take care of the house, and just all of this overnight. I had to grocery shop and stuff, and usually my mom is the one who does those things and I just tag along, but thank God I've watched and paid attention because I was able to know most of what she gets, and she'd written me a list and I'd written a list of my stuff, and I combined them and got the shopping done, and my sister did all the paying and everything. But I was functioning, literally my food and water were adrenaline and cortisol. That was literally my food and water from Friday the 13th until, like, let's see, Saturday 16th, Saturday the 14th, Sunday the 15th, Monday the 16th, and Tuesday the 17th. It was that many days of my mom was not home, so I had to do everything. And it's like I could do it, but it was not something that came natural or easy, and it was terrifying. Because in my mind, literally, I thought if I did it wrong, if I did something wrong, someone was either going to yell at me or die. Literally life and death to me. And I got through it, but it was traumatic. And I still have bad dreams about, being forced to run the house when I'm not ready for it. And it's like, I can do a lot of things around the house, but at the same time, having to keep it all straight in my head. I had to write lists and lists and lists. But what scares me is that my sister, who is not understanding, she is going to expect me to function at that level all the time now. And that's not how autism works. I had to mask, essentially. I had to do the neurotypical masking that people talk about where they hide their autistic traits. I had to basically do that to survive these days when my mom wasn't home. And when somebody sees the mask and they think, oh, see, you can do that. Why are you acting like you can't do that? I did it because it was fear, because I was scared, and that's not a way to exist. When my mom came home and the adrenaline was able to stop and the cortisol was able to stop, I collapsed mentally and I couldn't show it. But there was nobody home mentally for many days after my mom came home. I was so tired. The whole time my mom was gone, I might have slept maybe 4 or 5 hours out of the whole time she was gone, and she was gone for like 4 days, I think. See, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. She was gone 5 days, and I might have gotten a total of 4 or 5 hours of sleep in the middle of all that, maybe 6, through all of that, because I was so hyped up on adrenaline. And expect me to function at that level all the time is just not feasible, because I was basically functioning like a soldier on a battlefield that you just keep running and you just hope you don't get shot. You run, you do, you don't really think, you just do. There's not a lot of thought, and I was having to do with things that I didn't know how to do. And on top of it, my dad was constantly interrupting me. And I can't do that. Not for long periods of time. I could do it for a couple days, yes, but I can't sustain it. It's like sprinting. A cheetah, they can sprint in short bursts, but they don't run at 75 miles per hour for miles and miles and miles and miles. They do it in quick bursts, and then when they've caught their prey, they have to calm down. Afterwards, the cheetah's sitting there going, and that's how I felt. I couldn't catch my breath. It took me a week to get back to normal. And there are neurotypicals who think that once an autistic person can suddenly function on this new level, that means they can be that way all the time, and that they were just pretending they couldn't. No, That's not how it works. And if you think like that, it's ableist, and it's harmful, and it's damaging. It's damaging to assume that just because somebody can do something for a short time that they can always do it. You know, it's not being lazy, it's not fobbing it off on somebody else, it's just what my brain is capable of. And everybody can be a little bit superhuman when they are hopped up on adrenaline and cortisol, which is a stress hormone, and just survival mode. You know, you do things you don't think you can do when it's fight or die. You know, when it's run or die. You can do things that you didn't think possible. I probably could have lifted a car during the couple days my mom wasn't home because I was so scared. I mean, I was hyper alert. Every noise in the house, I was like, you know, just in a state of hypervigilance. That's not sustainable. And I feel like this is something neurotypicals don't understand. When they see somebody masking, they assume that that's their normal. It's not. The mask is not what's normal. And when you don't respect that, you harm autistic people. So please remember this, you know, if you're a caregiver and the autistic person in your life is suddenly able to do things because you can't, that doesn't mean that they have magically gained an ability. They're doing it because they don't have a choice. You know, and if you got somebody who needs extensive support, you know, their behavior might tank while you're gone, and it might tank when you come back because it's such an emotional whiplash, and you got to be ready for that. You know, don't take it personal. It's not like they want to attack you. They're just dealing with the feelings. I mean, the Friday night that my mom was gone, you know, Thursday night into Friday morning, I should say morning, but it was dark out, so night. I didn't get any sleep. I just bent over my bed and I melted down and I cried, and it was like the loud bawling kind of crying. It was a very sad and terrified. And I was told to stop crying. It's not fixing anything. I had to deal with my feelings. So I cried, and I ignored my dad telling me to stop crying and just be an adult. I didn't need to be an adult then. I needed to be a little girl, and I needed my mommy, and my mommy wasn't there. So I had to be there for myself. I had to call on God to be there, and he was. Because he got me through this as much as, you know, the people around me who helped, you know, but just because somebody is suddenly able to function in an emergency doesn't mean that they can do that perpetually. Okay? So emergency function is not the same as gaining a new ability. I mean, I've learned how to cook the Monday mac and cheese dinner, and I can do that now. But I learned that, you know, my mom gave me the instructions and she showed me how to fix something in it after she came home, and now I know what to do it. But that is a skill gained. Okay, that's a level up. But what I had to do while she was gone, that was emergency mode. And that's not the same thing as leveling up an ability. Okay? Learn the difference. All right? Bye-bye.